It's Karina Walter from the St. Catharines Standard. St. Catharines, like many other Ontario cities, are having a problem with homelessness, addictions, and mental health issues. We have a fairly new homeless shelter in the city, but we're still seeing tents dotting different areas. The big city mayors, including Mayor Cisco, have asked the province to appoint a minister who would be in charge of a portfolio that looks at homelessness, mental health, and addictions all together, comes up with solutions, has a task force, puts funding towards it. Is that something that you are willing to do, and why haven't we seen something like that already?
Well, because we have a minister. We have a couple ministers. We have the Minister of Health that's doing a great job. We have Minister of Mental Health and Addiction, the first ever in Ontario. We're putting $3.8 billion into mental health and addiction. And on the homeless side, we have the Minister of Social Services as well that we're putting hundreds of millions of dollars in. So we're always willing to sit down and talk to the mayors and see their situation. But we're there to support them. There's no government, think of this, there's no government that's put more money into homeless and homeless shelters, mental health and addiction than this government has.
St. Catharines is the largest city in Niagara out of the 12 municipalities, but it's still a small city, and it is putting more and more money into dealing with this problem, money that's coming from property taxes that's supposed to be going to other things, to have supports for people in the community. And I'm just wondering if the city here, if Welland, if Niagara Falls, if we're going to see any direct funding to help supplement some of that money that's being used to do cleanups and to offer supports and provide other, doubling up on city staff, people that have to, for safety reasons, have to be in pairs now going into parks.
Yeah, we're always willing to sit down with the mayors and have a chat with them and look at their needs and their requirements and review the funding that they've already received to make sure it's going into the right place. I'm going to tell you a story about up in Rexdale. Oh,
yeah, I was going to hop in on it.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you tell the story first.
Go ahead.
So very quickly, I did want to just make a note because last year, Niagara received an 86% increase in their homelessness prevention program funding allocation. So there had been a formula in place that said Niagara would get about just shy of $11 million in annual funding. We had ministers of housing, we had the premier come through, we met with local mayors about the needs that they saw here in the Niagara region. That funding was increased from just shy of $11 million to today it's $21 million in annualized funding each and every single year coming into the Niagara region. An 86% increase. Those funds are directly going into homelessness prevention services. They're the reason we're seeing new shelter beds opening up across the region with the support of local municipalities as well. So this government has almost doubled the amount of local funding going to address those issues. And I would say that this is a premier that's led the charge on making that happen. Sorry, I just had to.
That's all right. That's good. That's why I like local guys that know what's going on in their region. But I was just saying up in Rexdale, we had some folks show up to a park and decide to pop up some tents. But what they didn't know, they were being driven there by a fancy pickup truck. They all hopped out and thought it was a campground. Well, and then on video, the neighbors they're running, wearing these $200 sneakers running around, all having cell phones. So, there's a lot of homeless and we're there to support them. But I'm just speaking for Rexdale. That was, I don't know what was going on there. But I'll tell you one thing, they weren't homeless. They got up and the pickup truck came by and picked them up and away they went again to another location. So I'm not too sure what's going on there.